And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining, those of you who are listening live. For those of you who will listen at a later time, thank you for devoting your time and energy to this. I'm joined by my co-host. Go ahead, introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, this is Pedophile from Video Game Facts. Today we're going to be discussing some movie news from last week. Sorry I wasn't here last week because I forgot to tell that I was away.
That's okay, man. You're only human. You're only human. With that being said, it's me, Mr. Red Fox here. We're talking movies. We're talking TV. We're talking comics. The stuff that sci-fi dreams are made of. So let's get to it. Our first topic is movie news. So Pinky Don's going to give a review of a spoiler-free review of The Incredibles, and I'll give my thoughts on Jurassic World, and then,
And my thoughts on Jurassic World as well, because I've seen both of them.
Okay, give your thoughts on The Incredibles too.
Well, it's the sequel I've been waiting for years now, considering that the first one ended on a cliffhanger.
Well, not really, but continue.
It's basically everything what I wanted from a incredible sequel. The action, character development, comedy, all the music, the soundtrack, and all that jazz.
All right. So anything that stands out to you about it?
Well, I also like the callbacks to one of their incredible short, which is Jack Attacks, where which is a Pixar short involving Jack's time with a babysitter during the events of the first film.
Yeah, I heard there's a really funny sequence in the movie where he keeps on messing with this raccoon.
Yep. There's even merchandise for it.
Sure, there is.
It's some kind of rock and sock'em robot style merchandise.
That's interesting. So, your recommendations for the film?
I highly recommend it. Oh, and I should mention it's also not family friendly, to the point where my local theater just had some papers detailing the reminders about how violent it can get for children.
Oh no, it's PG-13. So it's PG. So I mean, like, what else do they need to say?
Yeah.
But from what I've heard, the film is like a throwback to old, to like PG-13 back in the day.
Yeah, before PG-13 was a thing.
Like Indiana Jones, Monster Squad, PG-13, where it's like, this really isn't PG-13. Kind of, sort of. Like, this is more rated R. This is almost rated R or PG, or like, like the Wolfman getting kicked in the nuts and then blown up with a stick of dynamite. It's like that's kind of,
kind of grotesque for a kids film.
Yeah, and yet this is somehow PG-13. Whatever. Or Indiana Jones, a man's heart gets ripped out of his chest. Or the first Indiana Jones, a dude gets cut up in a propeller. I mean, that's fucked up. And that same dude in Temple of Doom gets mashed up in a diamond grinder.
So
but this is PG-13.
So the first movie did had a guy getting killed, getting grind up from a propeller on a plane.
And that's what I just said. The same guy who worked for the same studio, the same stuntman, also got ground up in Temple of Doom in a rock crusher. What I'm saying is that, folks, it's like this movie really should have been PG-13. But Pixar, like there's lots of films that Pixar does where I'm just like, this really should not be, like, I would not take a kid to go see this, like a little kid, like Up or Wall-E.
Right.
But so it's a must see for you.
Right.
All right. Okay. I guess. All right then.
I guess we can move on to Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, the Fallen Kingdom. What can I say about this film? The film is a decent enough film. If you just want to watch something that's just like a general popcorn flick. If you are a fan of Jurassic Park, the first film,
which I am, of course.
If you're a fan of that film, this film is not for you, because this film, like the previous film, is dumb as shit.
Well, actually, it has some political aspects, just like the first film. If you're a hardcore Jurassic Park fan like me, it covers
not really.
It covers the ethics of whether or not the dinosaurs should live or die.
But it doesn't actually cover that in a meaningful or substantial way. What it does is it uses a plot point in order to propel things forward. What it boils down to is yet another film that's just kind of stupid. It's a stupid B movie. And I know some people are gonna say, but the original Jurassic Park was a stupid B movie. Yeah, it was a B movie. The original Jurassic Park directed by Steven Spielberg was a B movie, but at least there was heart to it, and it never felt condescending to the audience. This film, basically, like Jurassic World, is sitting there saying, "You're too stupid. You're too stupid to have critical thoughts. So we're going to do the thinking for you." And I didn't enjoy it. I don't like being condescended to with my film. And this was yet again. I mean, but the script was done by Colin Trevorrow, and man, has he proven that he really needs to be taken off this fucking franchise. Not because of his money-making potential, but because I think we can all agree that Colin Trevorrow. I mean, I think Steven Spielberg.
I could honestly disagree with you since we know because it's been said before that he too is a fan of the Jurassic Park series, so he knows what he's doing.
No, he doesn't, because Jurassic World was stupid. This one is, in some ways, I will give him credit. In some ways, this film is a little bit smarter, and they try to do things a little bit differently. But and you're thinking, okay, this is going to turn into something different. And then the third act happens, and it's like, nope, just as stupid, if not in some ways worse. And it's like no one has learned their lesson. It's the worst thing about this film. No one learns their lesson.
So that's humanity in a nutshell, though. That's the whole point.
No, it just shows the stupidity of the franchise has gotten stupider with each iteration. But with the original,
the entire point of the Jurassic series is to show that man has been constantly trying to control nature, even though nature is not in anyone's control.
Well, no, that's the point of the new of the legendary Godzilla films. No, the whole point
it also applies to the Jurassic franchise as well,
Not really. No. The first Jurassic Park is about the wonder of dinosaurs and how essentially what would it be like to have a creature on planet Earth that didn't exist at the same time as man, and basically a species that was the apex family of creatures for the time that has no fear of man. The first Jurassic Park's like, okay, we can't control this. And I mean, you know, to an extent, you could use the same thing, but there's no real arrogance of we're controlling this, because the whole point in Jurassic Park is that they're like, okay, we really can't control these things. Everything we do, they're being circumvented. But isn't it wonderful seeing dinosaurs? Okay, you're down with it. The second film is the beginning of the dumbing down of Jurassic Park, but it's still kind of plausible. Some greedy asshole steal a T-Rex's baby. I mean, we knew how badass that T-Rex was in the first Jurassic Park. So it basically goes to San Diego and fucks some people up. That's on them. They should have left that baby alone. Okay, and then you get the third movie. Some dumbass rich assholes steal some raptor eggs. Why?
It's actually one of Alan Grant's partners that just stole some raptor eggs. Of course, we do not speak up. We do not speak up the third movie though, because it does not cover any of the true.
Okay, let me put it this way. You can if you read the novelization for it, basically and even if you don't read the novelization for it,
I read both of the novels, so I know
you can. Yeah, Lost World and the original Jurassic Park. Both of them are really dry.
I had to disagree with you. A large majority of the Jurassic Park fans will have to disagree with you on
that one. No, because I've read them too. Jurassic Park, the book is very. Michael. The problem with Michael Crichton is that Michael Crichton is like Peter Benchley. His books, if you translate them into movies, can be fun. If you watch the movie and then read the book, the books have long portions where it's just like, okay, dude, get to the action. Get to the action, dude. Come on, man. Get to the action.
Then you're in the wrong. Then you're watching the wrong movie. Then, or
no, I'm reading the wrong. Well, no, because I mean, there's other authors that are very descriptive. That they're just. It's just Michael Crichton is, you know, like when he's hitting on all cylinders, he can be a great read, but Jurassic Park is not one of them. Also, I would advise people who like the movie, the book, like the general gist of both the movie and the film is the same, but a lot of people that make it in the movie die in the book. Some of the deaths are deserved. And a lot of personality changes for some of the characters. But that's neither here nor there. For me, the film was boring. Well, not boring. The film was dumb fun until the third act, where it just kind of fell apart for me. Oh snap! How's it going, Joel?
Joel, can you hear us?
Drew. I guess she'll make it eventually. But yeah, for me, it was just a little too much. It was a little too stupid, and it went a little too dumb, and I couldn't. Like the last portion of it, it was just too much. It was just too. It was too much. I was gonna give this film like, solid. This is pretty good. But then it just fell apart. So, if you just, I'm gonna steal a page from Double Toasted. I would give it a matinee. I would not pay full price for this film. I would not. It's damn sure not the best film of the summer for me. But it's. I mean, it's like if you.
It's enjoyable in bursts, right?
It's solid up until a point. Like the thing is like, okay, like, and I know this is on me as someone who, you know, like, I like characters in films that respond logically to shit. Right? But here's the thing. If you respond logically to shit, you can't have a movie. Because the logical thing would have been at the beginning of this film, this lady's like, oh, we have to save the dinosaurs. And she goes to Chris Pratt. She's like, we got to save Blue. Fuck Blue. And that would have been the end of the movie. And you wouldn't have had, you know, like,
well, the same can be said to pretty much every other horror movie where
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That would have been the logical. That would have been the logical thing, but you wouldn't have had a movie. They could have moderated that response a little bit more. Okay, we'll go get the dinosaur, but just these few people, nah, man, we're going in with like fully trained hunting team. Basically, the people they got to abduct the dinosaurs from them when they were. Well, because I mean, if you've ever read the end of Jurassic Park, the book is the end of it. Spoiler alert, but the book's like over 25 years old at this point. If you haven't read it, you're not gonna read it.
In the end, they basically just nuked the entire island.
They bomb the shit out of Isla Nublar. Okay, they just bomb the shit out. And you do have the end where Grant is basically on a helicopter. Well, like before the end, because at the very end, Grant is like he's in like he and the survivors are like in military detention because you know they want to keep them under wraps because you know people want to weaponize dinosaurs or they're afraid they'll get out of the quarantine or whatever. But he's like, when he's on the helicopter, he's like, they're gonna bomb this island, but it's not gonna matter because the pterodactyls that can fly are gonna just fly off the island, which you know.
Which minor spoilers, they do.
Yeah, it's like we gotta save the dinosaurs. Well, technically speaking, pterodactyls are actually flying lizards. They aren't dinosaurs, but you know, don't let actual science get in the way of movie science. but yeah, for me the film was okay. It was, you know, if I had to give it a letter grade, it's a C. Nothing special, didn't do anything that really, you know. If you know, if you absolutely want to see just a light popcorn flick, go watch it. But if you want to see the majesty of Jurassic Park, just go and get your VHS or DVD or Blu-ray of the original and just watch that. It's much better.
I just give it a B plus. Personally speaking. I am calling it the second best because obviously the first one will never be topped.
How can it?
I'd say it's third, and the reason I say it's third is because the first one, it can't be topped. I mean, you're never going to top the original Jurassic Park because you had Steven Spielberg in his prime. The second film, while not as good as the first film, you have Jeff Goldblum basically to kind of hold that movie up. And plus, it's just, you get to see the T-Rex go on a rampage killing people, which, I mean, really, they shouldn't have taken that T-Rex's baby. I mean, that's where they fucked up. They should have had a black guy with a wife beater.
You get hurt.
Yeah, they should have had a black guy with a wife beater with a mustard stain on it pop up and say, y'all took that T-Rex's baby? Oh, you fucked up. You know, that's really what Lost World should have been. Jurassic Park. You fucked up. Because it's like, as soon as you see the premise of the film, they stole a T-Rex's baby, and not a T-Rex, that same fucking T-Rex that fucked up those raptors at the end of Jurassic Park.
No, actually, those are actually different T-Rexes. The T-Rex you're talking about is only in Isle Nublar. The T-Rex in the Jurassic World movies is the exact same T-Rex from the first movie.
They don't ever say that in Lost World. I'm going to make the assumption that it's the same one.
It's actually the reason confirmed that these are different T-Rexes.
They never say that. And the reason no, they don't. And the reason I'm going, no, they don't. They never say that.
Yeah,
find the proof where they say that.
Yes, they did.
They never said that.
Yes, they did.
But anyway, I'm going to make that assumption, and the reason I'm going to make that assumption is because
it's a false assumption.
No, it's not.
Go.
The reason I'm going to make that assumption is because Dennis Nedry, fat ass, steals the embryos, which, of course, get locked in the water supply of the park, which causes all those little bastards to start breeding.
And no, that never happened.
Well, yeah. That was the significance of Dennis Nedry basically stealing the embryos and the hormones and such that he was gonna sell the engine, but he doesn't make it to the boat and he gets eaten by green cute bastard.
Everything you just said is absolutely wrong.
No, it's not.
All of that is not actually true to the actual canon.
What fucking canon?
The Jurassic Park canon.
Since when have they cared about canon? Man, I'm not gonna have this argument.
Since the second.
I'm gonna stick with my point of the events. You stick with yours, and we'll agree to disagree. But anyway, the film is a C.
Argument all over again.
The film is a C. There you go. It's a fun monster flick basically, but it's not very. It's not very good. It's like there are moments of wow, this could be interesting, and then the third act starts and it just kind of goes downhill from there. So yeah, I'm giving it a C. But if you just want to go watch a film and just see dinosaurs kill people, and a dinosaur that basically it's like no one learned their lesson from the last film. Let's genetically engineer a killer dinosaur. Why?
Because back then their attendance ratings were plummeting.
That's the excuse they use. Really, it was to weaponize dinosaurs. But didn't you see what this motherfucker did to these other people? It can't be controlled. Well, never mind. I'm not.
It was a prototype and it wasn't ready yet. It wasn't ready to be militarized yet.
I'm not going to get into the weeds about how stupid the plot is because it's a B monster movie.
I was going to say, aren't most of the plots of some good movies usually start with something so stupid it hurts?
Well, no, B monster movies have always been stupid. The difference between Jurassic Park and say Carnosaur, they're both B monster movies, is that Jurassic Park has a bigger budget. That's it. Like the plots are still just as fucking stupid. It's like the reason the first Jurassic Park gets a pass is because you had Steven Spielberg who could masterfully take that bullshit and weld it into something that worked. And to an extent, he did the same thing with the second film. After that, it kind of went downhill, and it hasn't been the same. It just has not been the same. Which, I mean, to be fair, I mean, a lot of franchises aren't the same after a while. Like Indiana Jones 4 sucks.
As did Temple of Doom.
Nah. I would say Temple of Doom doesn't have the same pacing as Raiders of the Lost Ark or the
Last Crusade.
Or The Last Crusade, but I will say that Temple of Doom is much better paced than Raiders of the Lost Ark because there are parts of Raiders of the Lost Ark that are just boring. There are parts of it that drag on where there's no action happening. It's just shit going on. Whereas Temple of Doom, like, it goes from action set piece to action set piece to action set piece, and all of them are memorable. Like, you might not like the opening of it where there's like a shootout in a nightclub, but you remember it. The car chase, you remember it. The airplane crash, you remember it. The raft ride, you remember it. You remember them going the gross out scene with the dining, but you remember it. You remember them going through the traps and disarming the traps and all that stuff. Like everything in Temple of Doom is memorable. You remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you remember the Rock chasing Indiana Jones going into the temple, him setting off the trap when he gets the idol, him running from the Rock. That's like one of the most iconic scenes in the film. And then after that, like, you can vaguely remember him getting double crossed by the French guy. I forgot his name, but the French guy. And then he gets on a plane, and then it's like for about 20 minutes, you don't know what the fuck's happening in the film. Like it's like, okay, as someone who's watched it a lot like me, I know, but for average Joe Blow consumer who's probably seen it once or twice, maybe 4 or 5 times, it's like there's parts of it that are like missing. Like, okay, then he runs into Marion. There's a drinking contest. Then her bar's on fire. Then some asshole Nazi wormy looking guy with glasses burns his hand. And then it's like, okay, somehow they wind up in the desert or like in a Middle Eastern area. And it's like there's portions of the film where it's not paced very well. Which, I mean, it's the first film in the series, so you know you can forgive it. But I think Temple of Doom is just better. It's better paced, and it has more interesting action scenes. Not as iconic, but interesting. Plus, Temple of Doom it's the inspiration for some of the best games ever made. So, I mean, I'll give it that. And then you have The Last Crusade, which is just perfect. Which is why Kingdom of the Crystal Skull doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There is no Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I'll fight people about it if they want to say that movie exists, because it doesn't exist. It's like the prequel trilogy doesn't exist. But enough about that. Jewel, you have any thoughts on the films? If you've seen them or not, I don't.
I've heard. I tried to get to see them, though. If anything, luck's been kicked me in the stars. But if anything, I actually got me hoping to see them at least.
All right. They're both pretty. They're pretty good films. I was never really that into The Incredibles, mostly because I was too old when it came out, so I don't have that connection to it. But
as a superhero fan, I'm actually able to get into it.
Yeah, I just like, because it came out 14 years ago, the first Incredibles. 14 years ago, I was like 18, so it's like I was at that age where I'm too fucking old to be watching this kiddie shit. So, how
wrong you were.
Well, not really. I mean, basically, when I finally did watch it, I was like, it's okay. I mean, basically, the Incredibles is Brad Bird's riff on the Fantastic Four, but it's a 90-minute movie, it's normal feature-length animated movie, and it has some pretty interesting stuff in it. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you've read the Fantastic Four stories, which I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan, it's like I've seen these same characters better developed in other media. So it's like I'm not impressed by The Incredibles in that way.
Well, aren't you smart then?
What?
Because I'm pretty sure it was supposed to parody the entire superhero genre, not just the Fantastic Four.
Well, I mean, that's true, but also, or it's a parody or a send-up or homage. But I mean, it's also almost beat for beat kind of it's almost a beat for beat send-up of the Fantastic Four. And I'm okay with that. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's sad that Disney, ironically, if the Fox merger, I think they accepted the $70 billion thing. But basically, ironically, Disney already has a template to make a good Fantastic Four film. Just use the Incredibles formula, except take out one of the kids, and you've got 4 characters. Yeah, I mean, it's, Mr. Incredible. Mr. Incredible basically has the physical features of Ben Grimm, but he's more like Reed Richards. Elastigirl, Elasti-Woman, whatever. She has more. she has more of the she has the physical features of Mr. Fantastic, but she's playing the role of the Invisible Woman, Sue Richards. Dash plays. He has the physical. He's basically like. He's essentially
The Flash.
No, he's Johnny. He's basically Johnny, and his sister is Ben Grimm because he's always annoying the shit out of his sister. So, but I mean, they already have a really good template for doing a Fantastic Four film. So all they have to do is just because at the end of the day, the Fantastic Four aren't, except the difference between the Fantastic Four and the Incredibles is that the Incredibles are actual superheroes. Fantastic Four are scientists and explorers who happen to have rivals who are supervillains, but they aren't in the classical sense superheroes. Like if you basically made something like the X-Files, but less horrifying in some cases, and about a family of 4 people with superpowers doing things, you'd probably be closer to the Fantastic Four. But that's neither here nor there. So you're definitely interested. Any other films that catch your fancy?
Well, I am curious about Ant-Man, so Ant-Man and Wasp, so that would probably be something.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need a palate cleanser after Infinity War.
Has anyone seen Hotel Artemis?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
Watch out for me.
They lied because people were like, "Yeah,
We don't need Ouija here."
No. They kind of lied because they said that Hotel Artemis was like John Wick. It really isn't. It's.
I thought you said it was because it's going to be the most original movie of all time or something, according to the commercial.
No, from what I heard, the thing is that they kind of promoted this movie wrong because they're like, well, it's like John Wick. It really isn't. I mean, there's some action, and it's more like a character piece where these different characters with different motivations are stuck in this place and how they basically have to do things in order to get out of it. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it's good seeing Jodie Foster back doing something. She's got the old lady makeup on her face, which is kind of sad because Jodie Foster really doesn't look that bad for her age. But I mean, I liked it for what it was.
I wonder how well it's doing in the box office.
Hotel Artemis, I think it's doing okay, not as well as they would like. I think it had a small budget, so I think overall it'll still be fine. Let me look it up. Hotel Artemis box office.
All right, the reason I'm asking is because of the whole internet's demand for more original movies, you would expect that movie would hit on top of the box office or something.
Well, I mean, it's a smaller film. It's not like it's. Let's see. It doesn't tell me. It's not doing that good. Its domestic run is doing like 6 million. It might do better once it opens up overseas. No, it is overseas. It's not doing well overseas either. So it's sad, but it is an indie film, so it might have had a small budget.
Well, I guess all those complaints about the lack of originality was all bark but no bite.
I don't think that's the case. I think it was misrepresented, and plus it came out at a time where a lot of other shit was coming out, like Deadpool, Infinity War was still going, Solo was released. Like a lot of somewhat good films have come out around the same time as this film, and it is. I mean, I watched it. It's an enjoyable film to watch. It's not great, but it is enjoyable. So. I mean, that's all I got to say. I liked it. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, not everything is perfect. If you want perfection in a film, I don't know, but I liked it. So yeah.
Okay, so we can move on to the merger talk.
Oh yes. The merger talk. Well, I mean, we got two major mergers going on right now. We've got the AT&T Time Warner merger, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I'm not going to talk about how Time Warner is probably going to try and screw people over.
I thought the merger has already happened like months ago.
Well, no. It was basically there was a court case where the government tried to sue and say, well, this is going to be a monopoly. The court case went against the government, so they okayed it. So while on paper it's happened, there's still a lot of like background stuff that needs to be done. Like divisions are going to have to be merged. People are going to get fired. People are going to get hired. They're going to have to combine things and change things. There's a lot of, this is something that's going to take a while. It's not something that's going to happen instantaneous, instantly. It's not going to happen instantly. Like NBC, Universal merging. So, I guess we can talk about how is this going to do anything for, I mean, I guess the big what if in the room is, how is this going to do anything for Warner Brothers? Your thoughts?
Let's see. Well, I have previously heard news about Spectrum pulling off Nickelodeon on their cable network because their contract expired or something. So that could be an example of what you're saying.
Actually, I was thinking about how, like all of these
channels.
No, I mean all the people who, like how all these little things that were being done by Warner Brothers might be canceled or just moved around.
Ah, okay. Oh, you mean like the Flash?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of things get canceled. Kind of like how you saw a lot of like Fox things that they were getting canceled. You know,
right?
Or moved back indefinitely, like that shitty Phoenix movie that no one wants.
Oh, and should we also expect the Gotham TV show to get canceled? Oh wait, is it on its final season right now?
I don't know. I so don't care about the Gotham movie series. I mean, the Gotham TV series, because like
the DC universe already screwed this over.
Here's the problem with the Gotham series. It like the series should have been set like 50, 60 years before Batman, right? It should have been like a real noir before Batman, like showing how Gotham became the shithole that eventually became, right? Instead, it's set literally like 10 or 15 years before Batman Year One. So it's like,
but isn't Gotham always a dumpster fire before Batman came?
No, there's been periods where it wasn't a shithole.
They could have had the story show how it turned into it.
Then how do you explain the guy who killed his parents?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it was at that point, it's pretty shitty. But like no city is always on a downward spiral all the time. There has to be points where it wasn't as bad. So I mean, basically, what I'm saying is this: the problem with Gotham is that they had to link it to Bruce Wayne. And once you bring Bruce Wayne into it, it becomes, and you start bringing in like Batman villains or teasing pseudo Batman villains. Like a guy gets shot and he turns into Solomon Grundy. I'm like, this is kind of, because I mean, I've read like I'm not a huge DC fan, but there's certain characters that I do go gaga about, and I know a lot about their backstory. Solomon Grundy is a guy, is a mobster who was murdered in Louisiana and dumped in the swamps and resurrected by voodoo. What the fuck is he doing in Gotham City?
That's one of the more dumb ideas I've ever heard.
And they have the Penguin, and it's just, I mean, like, here's the thing. If you're gonna do Gotham City has a storied history of vigilantes. There's the actual Gray Ghost, who was a real dude who actually dressed up like the Gray Ghost and went around beating up criminals. Like, he was like the prototype Batman. They could have done the precursor to the original Justice League, called the Justice Society, where they had like basically the proto Batman. Like, he's not called Batman, he's called something else. But basically, he's like the precursor to Batman. They could have done that. No, we're just gonna. It's ridiculous. Okay, they have like Bruce Wayne killing Ra's al Ghul, but not really, because you can't kill Ra's al Ghul. It's really hard to kill Ra's al Ghul because of the Lazarus pits and shit. It's just really bad. It's just they're cherry picking information just for the sake of it.
Say that's story writing into a corner, isn't it?
Basically, yeah. You know, and I know some people, man, I love Gotham. It's kind of shitty. It's not very good. It's, you know, and Legends of Tomorrow isn't good either.
And we should also mention how Gotham was trying to tease their own origin of the Joker.
Yeah, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. It's like, look. Gotham would have been better had it just Gotham would have been better had it just focused on maybe like a young Jim Gordon and Brian Bullock taking on crime in Gotham City. You know, before Bruce Wayne and all that shit came about, or, you know, maybe gone even later. I don't know. I mean, like, at this point, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of DC pimping out Batman. They got him working harder than a hoe works for her daddies. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable, and I'm tired of it. I can't do it anymore. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt, like people keep on giving them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, maybe it'll do different. Maybe it'll be different this time. It's not gonna be different.
How the Hades do they keep doing it to him?
Who, Batman?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moving on, then.
Okay, the Fox DC, the Fox Disney merger. Thoughts?
I'm mixed, but also kind of worried, because this is gonna be putting Disney in competition with Fox by having Marvel versus DC, and I'm not sure how it's gonna end.
Well, we know that Comcast, who owns Universal, was also in competition with Disney for buying out Fox. But
yeah, they made a bid for like $65 million, for $65 million, and
people recommend that they should be bought by Disney instead, since they are the lesser of two evils.
No. Actually, Disney made a bid for $57 million. But it was a stock exchange. It wasn't like a cash. Comcast made a bid in order to put the kibosh on Disney's bid for $65 million, and the Disney countered with $70 billion, which Fox accepted. They're like, okay, we'll accept $70 billion of stock. Personally, I think the Disney stock is worth more, because cash, $70 million in cash is nice, but like cash,
it's flexible, but it only can do so much.
Well, cash is nice, but cash is cash. Once you've made the exchange, that's it. Disney stock, if you get a decent amount of Disney stock, you can like Disney is not going to go out of business anytime soon, and you're going to get dividends, so it's consistently going to make money over time. So really, the more valuable exchange is the stock option. But Fox, I mean, they basically said the 70 billion. So now it's like, okay, it should be set at this point. I mean, there's nothing that should be set at this point. So it's only going to take a shareholder meeting, and then we'll see what shall be.
Which is next year.
No, it's this year. They have the shareholder meeting this year.
Because I thought the buyout will not be official until like next year.
No, the shareholder meeting has to go through, and then they'll start it, and then like it's going to take that long for them to get everything together in order to finalize it. But once all the OKs are through, there's still going to be time that they're going to have to put things together. But seriously, that's why you see Fox putting. That's why you're never going to see the Dark Phoenix come out on in movie theaters. It might come out on DVD
or on Netflix.
I don't even think it should be on Netflix. I think it'll be on DVD.
Straight to DVD, which is the worst. The worst fate.
DVD is actually the worst fate.
No, I'm not going to say it's the worst fate because, I mean, from what I've heard from people who've seen screeners of the unfinished film, it's garbage. And I don't know why people are surprised that it's garbage because, I mean, let's keep it real. In order for you to do the Dark Phoenix saga justice, you have to talk about its cosmic origin. Like, you can't just, well, Jean Grey suddenly had powers that she couldn't control. Like, there's more to it than that. And
yeah, you have to look at Jean Grey's descent into the Dark Phoenix.
Well, the thing is that you can't do the Dark Phoenix unless you get into the Tal Shiar Empire, the Kree Empire, cosmic things going on in the Marvel universe,
and the Skrulls, which they won't be named Skrulls in this movie at all.
And the Skrull, like, you can't. So basically, like, it's like someone saying, okay, you need to tell the story. You need to basically do a retelling of Mark Twain, same setting, but you can't talk about racism in the South.
That's one of the tallest orders imaginable.
Like, that's one of the key parts about the adventures of Mark Twain and Huck Finn is racism in the South. Like, it's plain. Like, part of the book is that Mark Twain helps this kid, this escaped slave, go north and meet up with his wife who's escaped earlier. That's the whole fucking point. That's one of the major parts of the damn story. You know, it's like, we're going to talk about Dark Phoenix, but we can't talk about cosmic things. Well, this is just going to suck. And from what I've heard of screeners, it does. So, which is not surprising because I've said this before. The X-Men movies under Fox have always been hit or miss. Okay, we accepted them at the time because we hadn't had really good ones, but they're mediocre. Okay, the first X-Men was shit. The second X-Men was a little bit better. The third X-Men sucked. Wolverine Origins sucked. The Wolverine also sucked. I know what they were going for, but it sucked. And then Old Man Logan, which
it blew.
It was pretty good.
Here's what I'll say about Old Man Logan. It was a Western set in a modern time. You literally could have just never had him use his claws, and it would have made sense. See, here's my problem with Fox's take on the X-Men. They focused way too much on Wolverine and not enough on the other characters. The X-Men has always had a very diverse cast of interesting characters, right?
Right.
And basically, like, those characters are treated as fucking throwaways in the X-Men series, and they built everything around Wolverine. And, I mean, that sucks because for people who know the comics, they know that there's all these interesting characters. Like everyone thinks Wolverine's a badass. Do you know Wolverine has never beaten Cyclops in a one-on-one fight? Like Cyclops has kicked his ass without using his powers, just with martial arts and skill, kicked his ass without eye blasting him. Because I mean, really, it'd be easy for Cyclops to just take off his glasses and just eye beam the shit out of Wolverine until he's just a skeleton. But he didn't. He just beat the shit out of him. But do we get to see that version of Cyclops? No. We get annoying, whiny bitch Cyclops. We don't get to see. Yeah, we don't get to see Beast as a cool character. They desperately tried with First Class, but it didn't work. They're like, well, Beast fell in love with Mystique. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Really?
What? Was that from the movie or from the comics?
That was from the movie. That's not in the comics. That's from that shitty ass movie.
Who the is writing this?
Well, I mean, like I said, the Fox X-Men films have always been hit or miss. The only good films that they've had, in my opinion, the only good X-Men films they've done were the Deadpool ones. I'm sorry, and X2 and the Deadpool films. That's it. And Old Man Logan. So 4 films. The rest of them are shit. Days of Future Past wasn't very good. We're gonna turn Mystique into a hero. Really? I mean, she's like Magneto's like right-hand man, but now she's a hero? What?
You're risking her getting killed by the very boss that hired her.
That makes no sense.
Hero.
That makes absolutely no sense. I don't
get her moment.
I don't get that one. Like, why are you making Mystique? I mean, I know why, because it's Jennifer Lawrence, and they're like, we have Jennifer Lawrence, we have to make her the centerpiece. And I'm like, I like Jennifer Lawrence, but
I don't know if Mystique will make another appearance in X-Men Dark Phoenix, since her contract is already up.
Yeah, because Jennifer Lawrence can make more money in other places. I don't blame her. I'm just tired of the, like, I just want to see Marvel make a good X-Men movie, because they probably could do a lot better than the shit we've been getting. I would love to see them have another. I would love to see like the next set of Avengers films, not after 4, where like you have some major worldwide catastrophe happening, and like it's like, okay, in upper state New York, Xavier's School of the Gifted, and you see. And you see Scott Summers stand up with his glasses. It's like, X-Men, assemble! Like, that would be fucking awesome. In their actual fucking outfits and not in all black. Even though some their stealth outfits are in black, but in their classic comic book outfits. I would love that shit. Will we get it? If the Fox Disney merger goes through, yes, we will, and a decent Fantastic Four film, because I'm tired of the bullshit we've been getting.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't gotten Jessica Jones and Luke Cage's superhero costumes in their Netflix shows.
No, we've gotten Luke Cage superhero. He's been in his yellow, because Luke Cage doesn't really have a superhero costume. He just wears his current costume is just a yellow T-shirt and pants.
What about the tiara? I mean, that's...
Well, he did kind of have that when he first transforms, but it looked kind of ridiculous, so they dropped it. I don't blame him. Like the 70s tiara afro thing, it would look too much, especially on Mike Coulter, because his head is huge. And Jessica Jones doesn't really wear an outfit. She normally is just like wearing like casual shit. Daredevil has an outfit, and they brought that back good. And I mean, I'm sorry, Iron Fist is so bad. Oh, that's a bad show. I can't even get through that show. I have it.
I was about to say it's like watching a train wreck, but it's something that is so ugly you can't watch it.
And that too doesn't have his traditional outfit.
Well, I mean, to be fair, no one wants to see that. So even if he had this traditional outfit, I don't think it would make any difference. That's a really bad show. Thank you, Scott Buck. Thank you, Scott Buck, for fucking up what could have been an awesome, actiony, chop-socky kung fu extravaganza, and it turns into shit because Finn Jones can't be bothered to actually learn
how to throw a punch.
Yeah, he can't be bothered to learn to learn any of his moves. But whatever.
Ow.
Guess we could move on to the third topic.
Yeah, people who just won't shut the fuck up. So without much ado, I guess the first person we're going to talk about is Zack Snyder, Zacky Poo, the Zack Attack. Zack Snyder recently, because he knows his ass, as soon as Aquaman is out, his ass is out too, has been releasing all of this information that no one gives a shit about. Like, you know, the real dead side is still loose. The real, I'm like, no one gives a shit, dude. Shut up. He's like, actually, this is symbolism in Batman's scene. No one gives a shit, dude. Shut the fuck up. Like, listening to Zack Snyder talk about how he actually snuck in little Easter eggs in his shitty films is like having a plumber come to your house and fuck up your plumbing. And like, well, actually, I meant to do this. It's like, man, you fucked up my plumbing. I don't want to hear anything from you except how you're going to fix it. And if you're not going to fix it, you're going to give me a refund so I can take that money and hire someone who can fix it.
I'm actually curious of how the person that did the Star Wars movies is going to do an apology tour.
Ryan Johnson. Oh, Ryan Johnson isn't going to do an apology tour. Ryan Johnson is going to get his own trilogy, which I kind of don't think is going to happen.
Oh, fun.
And there's also a petition to remake The Last Jedi with a much more happy ending.
They're gonna have to remake a lot more shit in The Last Jedi to make it better. Like, you know, actually, you'd have to start with The Force Awakens, and then remake The Force Awakens, then remake The Last Jedi. Or you could just watch the original trilogy and just be done with it. I mean, that's what I'm doing.
The rate that it's going, I remember watched the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 than what's coming up for 7, 8, and 9.
Damn. Well, I mean, I can't get too mad because I feel the same way. I really do. I know people are going to get mad at me when I say that. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Especially how they screw up on 8.
I would rather watch the original. I would rather watch the prequel trilogy than the new shit, because the new shit isn't very good. Like J.J. Abrams has cemented with that film, with The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams has cemented the fact that he is not like
professional.
Well, no. That we might get mad at George Lucas, but he's not George Lucas or Lawrence Kasdan or any of these people. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He must have some kind of personal grudge against new directors and have a fondness for older directors.
No, it's just I know who's got the good shit. You know? It's like I know that Steven Spielberg, you know, he might not be able to be as good as he was back in the day, but Steven Spielberg, even half-assing it, is better than J.J. Abrams trying his best. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe me, go watch those shitty. Go watch Star Trek Into Darkness, and tell me that that's not the case. Star Trek Into Darkness sucks, by the way. It's not a good film, but you know, and I mean there are some things like one of my favorite Harrison Ford films has the script was written by J.J. Abrams. So, I mean, I don't think he's a total hack. I just think that he's not as good as people think he is. Like, he's not as capable as people think he is. And I think people need to recognize that. But he's still better than Rian Johnson. I mean, the best film Rian Johnson did was his first film, Brick, because Looper is, I mean, that is a fucking depressing ass movie.
I was about to say Depression Quest 2.
Basically, I mean, it's Looper is not like people are like, I can't believe. I can't believe that these movies are that much of a downer. Yeah, because it's Rian Johnson. Have you seen Brick? Brick is not a happy film. Like none of these films are happy. Like Rian Johnson, I think he's incapable of doing a film that's happy. Like he can't do it. He's physically incapable of it. He can't.
Yeah, like when he tried to implement comedic tones in The Last Jedi, it ended up falling flat.
That was comedy? I didn't think that was comedy. I think that was just him directing. I think The Last Jedi was just doomed. The Last Jedi was doomed once they got Rian Johnson. It was not going to get any better. I mean, personally, here's what I think Lucasfilm needs to do right now. I think they need to get their house in order. Because their house is not in order right now. Okay.
No kidding.
Okay, like different directors for every film. They need to maybe like I don't know. I don't know. You know, they need to get their house in order and get the bullshit out the way. But that's just me. Anyone else that needs to be nominated for the I Wish This Person Would Shut the Fuck Up award?
Let's see. Don't have any in mind at the moment.
I offered one already.
This person needs to shut the fuck up. Be quiet, bro. Shut up, bro.
Who's doing Ocean's 8?
I saw it. I liked it. It's not perfect, but I mean, for what it is, it's fun. You know.
Yeah, but I was saying that whoever's doing Ocean 8, they might want to be quiet for a while because, well, with how many people are conflicted with that.
I don't see what the problem is. I mean, look, listen. But then again, I am a huge Sandra Bullock fan, so
apparently Deadpool 2 was nearly ended with Wade Wilson killing baby Hitler.
That would have been fun. Like I don't know how that's controversial. I mean, who's defending Hitler?
Do you really want to answer that?
No.
Who's like who's like, oh man, no, you can't kill baby Hitler. It's baby Hitler. I mean, seriously, man.
The reason why they didn't do so because they found out that it would change world events completely. So they didn't do. So they scrapped that idea.
I still fail to see how that is a controversial thing.
Well, it's not more of a controversial reason, but more of a logical reason. Like time travel.
Time space historium.
Yeah.
I say fuck Hitler. I mean, not literally fuck Hitler, but you know, like, to hell with that guy.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Now I found something that we could discuss about. People won't shut up about. People complaining about people having a hot on Elastigirl and The Incredibles 2.
I mean, listen. I'm gonna keep it real, man. I've seen pictures of Elastigirl. Look, Mr. Incredible. Look, listen. I'm gonna say something, and I don't want people to get angry. Mr. Incredible has superhuman strength. Elastigirl is ultra elastic.
Put two and two together, ladies and gentlemen.
Their powers complement each other very, very, very well. Because you know, Mr. Incredible. I mean, he is really strong. It's kind of like how you It's kind of like how you imagine Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, because Luke Cage is superhumanly strong and Jessica Jones is superhumanly strong. So clearly, like, you wouldn't want to be their neighbors when they're
having some noise in the bedroom.
When they're in flagrante delicto, if you will. Because, you know, there's going to be, it's like, hey, man, is there an earthquake in Hell's Kitchen? Nah, man. My neighbors are smashing.
And that's putting it lightly.
Literally, they're smashing. Like, literally, the block would be destroyed because Luke Cage is superhumanly strong and Jessica Jones is superhumanly strong. And, you know, damn. I was expecting that to hit with a lot more force. Never mind. Okay, anyway, anyone else who just can't shut the fuck up? Anybody? We got a little extra time because this Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish is going to run a little bit longer than usual because we didn't have one last week.
Not at the moment.
Any anime anyone's looking forward to?
Oh yeah, I think they announced a release date for the second Godzilla anime movie for Netflix, but I forgot what date it was. I should go check it.
If you want to, I mean, I'm going to keep it real. I don't really like the Godzilla anime movies because they just aren't really doing anything for me, but.
Well, I've been waiting for a Godzilla anime for years.
Like, the first one didn't do anything for me. I guess because the main character was kind of annoying to me. Just a little bit. He was just kind of an asshole, but, you know, I guess he was supposed to be kind of an asshole, I guess. Like, that was the point. He was kind of supposed to be an asshole, but I found him to be annoying because he just was a jerk.
Let's see, recent news saying that it could be coming to Netflix later this week.
That'd be cool.
But this was back in June 14th. And we're on the 23rd.
It might be already out yet. Just thinking. Yeah. I'm waiting. I think the other show I'm looking forward to, the new Luke Cage, comes out next week. So, I mean, yeah, next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe this week. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that because I like Luke Cage. Luke Cage, Luke. Of course, we need to. I think they're gonna have the obligatory Luke Cage having to deal with his father portion of it.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that one. Okay, then. Anyone else have anything they're really looking forward to? Anime? Any books anyone's looking forward to?
Oh yeah, JoJo Part 5 just recently announced it's coming this fall.
That's good.
I would say that the JoJo season 5, it looks the character designs, they are
I'll have to tell you this. It's at the point. This is where the series is at this point where the characters look much gayer than they were, but than manly from the previous seasons.
Wow.
yeah, that's what I was about to say, because that is just that they get weird with their designs.
Yeah, in Part 4 afterwards, the designs get less manly and much more skinnier. Of course, then again, it was Part 5 was made back in the 90s, where fashion senses changed in Japan back then, I believe.
I just remember the days where male characters looked like dudes, women looked like women, and never did the twain meet. It was a wonderful time.
Yes, it was one of the best things around.
And of course, the main character is actually the illegitimate son of the main antagonist of the series.
Dio?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I thought JoJo was.
Well,
although no,
he's both Dio's son and a Joestar because
he stole the body.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Yeah, he's the. Never mind. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that does. Never mind. Yeah, I got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I got it. I understand now.
And of course, he has a name named after Fleetwood. You know, the band that plays the song "Go Your Own Way."
I think I get you.
And this part also spawned the "It Just Works" meme with King Crimson because of poor fan translations from the early 2000s when the internet was still new.
Internet has always been new. No, but I mean, I don't know. The way I feel about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is I like it. I don't think it's the best anime ever, but it is pretty fun.
That I can agree on.
So I've seen people have been using that series as to counter idol anime, alongside with One Punch Man and Attack on Titan and Kill la Kill.
I can understand One Punch Man not being seen that way. Because One Punch Man is really good. it's insanely good.
And I'm still waiting for season 2.
Just because that guy's like, he has that blank ass vacant stare. and everyone thinks he's a joke, even though technically speaking, the Heroes Association wouldn't exist without him. He's like, "Why are you a hero?" "Oh, I do it I do it for my spare time." He's like poor and penny pinching. It's hilarious. He's like the most powerful superhero on planet Earth. That's hilarious.
And he's saving up coins.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey man, how did you they're like, how did you get so strong?" "Well, I did like 20 push-ups a day." No, he's like, "I kept on doing push-ups until my hair fell out." It's like he never tells anyone. And like he kills, like he's just a normal guy. He kills a monster with his tie to save the butt chin kid. I know that's not his name, but that's what the kid looks like. He's got a butt chin, so he's butt chin boy.
Weirdness never stops.
Butt chin boy. No, literally, he has a butt chin, so.
I know. That's what makes it all the worse. That you can laugh at it.
It looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
But then again, his grandfather has a butt chin, so I guess it runs in the family.
Well, anyway, I guess we're over the time limits, and I had to leave because Splatfest is still going on.
Oh, okay. Well, for those of you who watched or will watch or, whatever.
Or just dropped in.
Thank you for joining. For those of you who are my guests, thank you for showing up. You didn't have to.
No problem.
You did. And I'm a sucker for people coming in and watching my stuff. So thank you. And well, that's the end of the cast. Gabs, give your sign-offs.
Sorry about being late. This is Joe Eli Moonstar, the Gaming Mage, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you about some of the movies that we like that came from comics.
And this is Pedophile from Video Game Facts. Yesterday I just posted a article showcasing, talking about Jurassic World Evolution, as well as today's article where I talk about my top 10 music tracks I want to see in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, if you guys want to check it out. And for that, I'm signing off.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox. Thank you for joining. Peace out. Enjoy. And good night.
And remember to hype responsibly.